everyone, welcome back to Royalty Soaps. So I had some silicone molds that I had to make, or rubber molds, or some sort of molds. I needed Oreos custom molded. And I thought I might take you guys along on my little experimental journey. I tried two types of molding things. I tried like rubber casting and I tried like silicone casting, and I definitely have an opinion on which one is better. But you guys are gonna have to watch the whole video to find that out. If you aren't following me on Instagram, I have two of them, one for Royalty Soaps and one for personal matters. And without further ado, let's start making some silicone molds. So the first thing you're gonna need to make this project is your mold making materials. So I got this off of Amazon. I will leave you guys a link down below. Now this is a really thick rubbery type of mold making material, so it can really only be used for projects that you're molding hard items with. I'm using a cookie today. Any sort of plastic item would work, probably like a cereal or a gummy bear or something like that would be fine. But if you're trying to do something like a fruit or a berry, you know, things of that nature that are very delicate, this type of silicone is not gonna work for that. The instructions say you're supposed to make equal halves of A and B, and I think I'm gonna use the whole tube. And you're supposed to make sure that you mix it up really well. So I'm just gonna, ooh, this feels weird. Get out of there. Just gonna pull this out. Yes. It feels like slime. Then I'm gonna pull this part out. I've got the container, so now I just have to squish it up. Ooh, I better take off my wedding ring for this. Gonna squish it up. Oh yeah, this is so satisfying. Lily likes it too, apparently. So once you mix this all up, you're not gonna see any two different colors. And you notice I'm working on a stainless steel work table. That is because I don't want this stuff to stick to anything. So you're not gonna wanna put this on anything that isn't resistant to sticky stuff. So working in a plastic bowl or something like a piece of Tupperware, that's a good idea. Or on a marble countertop or quartz countertop, something like that. This is what it looks like after I've mixed everything up. So I'm gonna set it down here, and then I'm gonna take this roller and I'm just gonna kind of roll it flat. It doesn't have to be very thick for my molding purposes. I'm just molding Oreo cookies. But if you're doing something really deep, then you're gonna wanna mound it up a little more than this. Okay, so here's my Oreo, and I'm gonna put it in just like this, face down. I'm gonna press it in gently. Make sure the mold material goes all the way around the edges here of the cookie. I can even press it in a little bit, and if some of the cookie gets onto the mold, it's not a big deal. We'll just wipe it off after the mold material has set up. Here's another cookie, gonna place that in there. Ooh, I broke it. Ooh, I wonder if that'll matter. Too late now. Okay, that totally didn't work. I think I'm gonna have to work on an individual molding basis. I really was hoping I could put together the mold so that it would all be on one sheet, but that's not gonna work, so I'm just gonna take a little bit off here. Let's roll this into equal sections. I bet we can get about 7 molds out of this. Maybe even 8 if I'm really thrifty. Okay, so now we have individual molds, so I'm just gonna press this out nice and flat, and then I'm gonna take my Oreo cookie here. This is all in one piece, not broken. And I'm gonna press it in and press the mold making material around it. Okay, so this is a lot better. Working for an individual mold, I think, is probably your best bet with this sort of mold making material. Then after it's pressed around, I'm just gonna set it off to the side. And now we'll move on to the next one. So again, I'm just gonna kind of press this out a little bit. Take another Oreo cookie here, press it in gently, and pull up the mold material around the sides. Okay, so it looks a little something like this. Set it off to the side again. It says on the package you're supposed to let this cure for 20 minutes, so I feel like you should probably hurry up because that's like a really quick cure time. And this one right here, I might have bit off a bit more than I could chew. I might should have gone just done half of the containers instead of trying to do the whole thing. Learn from my mistakes, people. Learn from my mistake. Oh, I broke the cookie. Ah, now I gotta do it again. So just so y'all know, Oreo cookies are kind of hard to do. Okay, so if you're gonna use this mold making material, I definitely recommend you do smaller bits. I feel like threadbanger right now. I feel like I'm messing stuff up for camera, but you can see here, I mixed it all up at the same time, and now this stuff is way too hard for me to do any molding with. So I ended up getting 4 molds out of it when I definitely could have gotten like 9 or something if I had just gone slower and mixed it up like 1 mold at a time instead of doing the whole 2 tubes. Luckily, this stuff is pretty cheap, but it's also really disappointing whenever you make a mistake like that. All the same, I'm gonna let these 2 sit for the recommended 20 minutes, and then we'll unmold them and pour some soap into them so that we can see just how detailed they got. I have let these sit for the proper amount of time, so now I'm gonna unmold them. Ooh, okay. That looks pretty good. I see all the detail is very accurate. I'm gonna pull out this one. This is the one that I that I broke. Oh look, you can't even tell that I broke it. Wow. I didn't pull it up high enough probably on the sides to make this soap mold very deep. But I have one more that I made off camera, and this is what the sides definitely need to look like. They need to be pulled up really high. So I have these 3. Let's check them out and see how they do with soap. I have a little melt and pour here I mixed with black, just trying to make it look pretty accurate. Ugh, when your best friend texts you memes while you're trying to film. So you can see now why it's important to make sure the edges of your molds actually surround the entire cookie. Otherwise, you might have some that starts leaking out the side. The melt and pour has completely set up, so I'm going to unmold these Oreos here. That one looks really good. Seriously, the detail is so pretty. Let's see how these other ones did. Yep. Just about the same amount of detail on those too. I just need to clean up the edges of these, and those look really, really good. So we've tried the rubber silicone molds, and that definitely works, especially if you mold them one at a time. Our other option is to get a silicone mold making kit that comes with the silicone, and it comes with a catalyst as well. I think we're probably gonna like this method better. I'm just gonna follow the instructions here on the package and on the 2 containers that they sent me. The first thing they want you to do is to prep a container to put the mold products in. So this is a popcorn box that I have lined completely with packing tape. There is packing tape all over the inside of this, that way the mold doesn't stick to it. And I put some tape on the outside on the corners so nothing will leak out. Then they want you to take your item, what I'm doing of course is an Oreo, and they want you to put a little hot glue on the back of it and make it completely flush with the bottom of your molding container. So I'm taking my little kabuki brush and I'm just dusting off the top to make sure any cookie crumbs are far away from here. Then I'm taking a little hot glue, putting it in the middle, and then pressing the cookie down right here. I can fit 12 cookies in this mold, so I'm going to repeat the same process 12 times and fill up the entire container. The mold making material says that I'm going to need this entire container here. So I've mixed up the catalyst and I'm simply going to pour it in and then mix really, really well. Okay, so just blub, blub, blub. And then mixy, mixy, mixy. It says it should all be one uniform color by the time you're done. Ooh, look, it's turning really pink. Ooh, this wears out your hand. I'm pretty sure everything is good and mixed up now, so I'm gonna pour this over the stuff I want molded. Okay, so it says after I pour everything in, I have to let it sit for 18 to 24 hours. Oh man. And I'm an instant gratification type of gal, so that's gonna be really hard. I am gonna take a piece of tape though, and I'm gonna put it on one side just to hold it in because the sides are bowing a little bit because this is thin, cheap cardboard. And then I'm gonna move this to a completely level surface. The table I'm working on is not 100% level, and we're gonna let it sit for 18 hours and then we'll come back and see if it worked. All right, so the silicone mold has been sitting for the allotted amount of time, And I can see here on top, there's some little bubbles that got created, and I'm not sure if that's my fault or if that's the mold making material. It's probably mine because I picked this up and moved it once after it had already been sitting for like 30 minutes. But I'm just gonna cut down the sides of the mold. Okay. All right, so it has stuck to a few little places, but it's just the sides, so that's not a big deal. Let's see if I can pull this off. Oh my gosh, yes! Oh, so satisfying. I feel the cookies breaking. Pull it off. Yes! Look at that! Oh yeah! Okay, so any extra little silicone I have, I'm gonna cut away. This is what the mold looks like after I've taken the cookies out, and I've cut away some of the little ridges here. So to clean up all the dust and dirt and to sort of show you guys what the mold, how it does and stuff, I'm just gonna pour some black melt and pour soap into each of the cavities, and that should pull up any of the cookie crumbs left over. We're just gonna let that sit until those harden, and then we'll come back and unmold it and see how it did. The soap is hard enough to unmold now, so we're gonna see how these cookies turned out. Oh yeah! You can see the details are super crisp. It looks just like the cookie. And you can also see that it pulled up a good majority of the crumbs. Take this one out right here. Wow, these are amazing. Now I can pour 12 Oreo cookie soaps all at one time using one mold. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the rubber mold versus the silicone mold. And as you can see, the silicone definitely picked up a lot more details. The little lines are a lot more crisp. But for people on a tighter budget, I would say that the rubber mold works great too. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Both of the products that I used in today's video will be down in the description box below in case you have any items you need to mold for upcoming projects. And like I said before, you can mold items like that are made out of plastic. For the silicone, you can mold like anything basically. And I imagine this would be pretty darn helpful for people who work with polymer clay or resin or soap or candles. There's lots and lots of different mediums that a silicone mold would be really useful for. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment down below, and hey, if you're interested, you can click the notification bell so Fairy lets you know every time I upload a new video. And until next time, I hope you all have an absolutely royal day, and bye for now.